Crypto tutors, crypto tutors, hey.
It's a way.
Making money in my sleep? Making money in my sleep.
Yay! I am so unbelievably excited today, everybody. If everybody's excited, and we're recording this on a Friday, so we definitely want to see in the comments if you're feeling that Friday fun energy, because we have an incredible show for you today. First and foremost, Cleve. Okay, I'm gonna give them the whole scoop on the just incredible, amazing, awesome human being that you are. But before we go there, I just need to give them a little bit of background about who we are, Crypto Tutors, and what we stand for, and how we're, contributing to the community, global community at large. So the Crypto Couch, this is very interesting because the Crypto Couch is a part of Crypto Tutors' approach to simplifying cryptocurrency and blockchain. Cleve, this is where we share the stories of folks like yourself, the trailblazers, the juggernauts that are leading us into the future in crypto and blockchain. We're striving to humanize the technology by showing folks like you and sharing the work that you're doing and the impact that you're having, not just within your local communities and the national communities, but the world at large. Because in January of 2022, we're going to be going to our country, Haiti. To all my Haitians out there, I bet you to know we were rocking and rolling in the crypto blockchain space. And if you did or you didn't, now you know. So, Cleve, my Haitian sister from another mister, I have to properly greet you. All my Haitians out there, all my Haitians, they'll know this one. Sac passe?
Ma femme, because we don't do sac passe anymore. We don't do macboule anymore. We say en forme.
Okay, so when we say sac passe, we're saying what's up, and then when the traditional response is macboule, which means I'm burning, and I never really got that. If you're feeling the energy and you're feeling the vibes, I want to see in the comments. I want to make sure that we keep this as interactive as we could possibly be, y'all. So, Cleve, here we go. I'm about to break it all the way down. Okay. I'm so excited about this. Okay, so, folks, this woman that we brought to the Crypto Couch today, okay, the orders of magnitude associated, Cleve, with what you've contributed to the crypto and blockchain arena, especially on the Hill. You lead the National Policy Network of Women of Color in Blockchain, and recently you organized the National Briefing of Women of Color in Blockchain, which featured members of Congress and a delegation of over 60 female industry leaders. We were in there. Crypto Tutors was in the house. Thank you for the plug. Being the plug. You serve on the board of directors of the Value Technology Foundation. You were appointed to the DC Innovation and Technology Inclusion Council by the mayor of DC, Muriel Bowser. You're the author of The Clevolution, which is super clever, which discusses your quest for justice in politics and crypto. First of all, I could go on and on and on, but I have to add that you're a bison. So all of the Howard U alum out there, I want to see you. I want to see you in the comments. I want to make sure that Howard University is representing hard body. You're an AKA, and right, like any AKAs watching this, we want to make sure that you show Cleve the love that she deserves. We salute her. And the founder of Logos. And I think this is one of the coolest aspects about just the amazing work that you're doing. And that is you launched the first decentralized platform exclusively for activists. Whew, that was a mouthful. What don't you do?
Sleep. That's what I don't do.
Evidently. Yeah, I could see that. So, oh my goodness.
Well, I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And I am in so much awe of you and all of the incredible things you do, and with the grace and energy that you do it. So, yes. Well, I feel like I'm an Oprah, and this is Oprah's couch. So,
I have been known as the Oprah of tech, but little do they know I'm now the fancy fighter crypto. Too much fun, too much fun. No, but I just wanted to really give you all of the accolades and the props that you deserve, because as we start to really unpack the work that you're doing and have done, I think folks will realize, when we speak about hosting folks on the crypto couch that are spearheading and leading us into the future, they will turn to people like you. They will follow your journey and they will have access to what's happening, especially within the political arena, and we'll get to that in a bit. But just to kick things off, right? Let's run it back. Tell us a little bit about, you sit at the intersection of DC, innovation, crypto, and blockchain. How did you start?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think everybody in blockchain has a story, right? The space is so new and people are always talk about how did we learn about it? Well, I actually first learned about blockchain when I was in the Obama administration. And it was 2013, a friend had a Bitcoin project and asked me to help him with a press release.
That's what you call friends with benefits.
Thank you, because this benefit has kept moving, but he wasn't the benefit. But I helped him with the press release. I learned about Bitcoin, but I wasn't that interested. Then I saw the movie Dope. I don't know if
I saw the movie Dope, because that movie is dope.
Dope. But it actually, even though it talks about illicit activities on Bitcoin, but it actually gave you a sense of how secure Bitcoin is. But anyways.
Well, that's a key point, though, because we always talk about simplifying cryptocurrency, and that could be a great reference point for folks to take a look and just kind of understand a bit more of like illicit purposes, but just to give them a little bit more context around how does Bitcoin, how does it operate, and how does the blockchain function, and so forth. So if you haven't seen Dope, go check it out. Drop it in the comments if you have, because we definitely want to know what your thoughts are. Sorry, I digress.
No, it's a great movie because it didn't force crypto on you. It was just part of the story, and it was a story that you could relate. And we don't do enough of a good job in terms of simplifying the language, which is why I love what you're doing, which is just that, trying to get crypto to the masses. But when I got excited about it was a few years later, around 2015, 2016, when the conversation expanded beyond Bitcoin and we started talking about what are the possibilities of the technology, right? That's when we started talking about identity management, right? Privacy protection, intellectual property protection. One of my favorite words in crypto is self-sovereign identity.
What does that mean though, Cleve? Because I feel like we want to be very mindful for folks who are not necessarily as knowledgeable. And so when we say self-sovereignty and things of that nature, what do we really mean with that?
Yeah, well, in this case, I'll simplify it for you. So self-sovereign identity is, think of the people in Alabama and Mississippi that don't have birth certificates. Think of all of the people in Latin America and the Caribbean who don't have papers for their land and don't have birth certificates, right? So all of these people have not been able to participate in the traditional marketplace. We know in the Caribbean and Latin America, all of those street vendors, they can't go to the bank and get a loan, but they make a lot of bank. They have to come up with creative ways to hide their money, right? And when you're in Latin America, you could be making a lot of money, but you're not gonna leave the hood and all of a sudden, move to LA. So self-sovereign identity is a way to actually give people access to the crypto economy, get them a wallet without needing ID, right? So it's where your picture authenticates you, your fingerprint authenticates you, or your community verifies who you are. So once we're able to get you that wallet, you can participate in this global marketplace. So when you couldn't buy a plane ticket before, you could now with crypto. So that's the beauty of self-sovereign identity. It really, again, crypto gives people back financial freedom. Now it can also give you back freedom in terms of your identity, which has been one of the ways that we've kept people out of the traditional financial system. So again, one of the things that I fell in love with crypto. So of course I went down the rabbit hole, and for your audience, that rabbit hole is deep. You learn about blockchain, then you learn about the cryptocurrencies, then they add stable coins to it. Now, then you're learning about NFTs. And in crypto, right, because we're so committed, we're die hard. So we're always learning. But it's hard for the public to keep up, right? I actually do a weekly newsletter that comes out every Monday. It goes to almost 5,000 people, but I really do it for myself. It's my way of keeping up with what's happening in public policy, what's happening in the enterprise. But I actually fell in love with Ethereum because of their, focus on Web 3.0. Ethereum was just, Vitalik is an interesting personality, but
CEO and founder of Ethereum.
I'm so sorry, but he's one of those people who, even though Ethereum has a founder while Bitcoin does not technically, the ecosystem there in terms of how the developer base in Ethereum has really created all these decentralized apps, the dApps, right? And really focus on peer-to-peer engagement, which is why I felt, activists have a lot of social media platforms to do activism, right? And they have lots of organizing tools. What they don't have is a social network where they can actually find like-minded people. The other crazies who want to write another letter, right? The other crazies.
It's like, where's my tribe? Like, Logos gives you access to the people that are in your tribe.
The people who can commiserate, the people you can date, the people who are used to losing.
Oh, let me find out you got a little sidebar dating action going on. Because if you're a part of the revolution, you need people who can understand that you're like married to the cause. So I love this. This is, so it's not just the socialization of the mission, but also, the development of folks that are, of the like minds, and potentially that could lead to, you finding your husband, your wife, or whatever you want to, your partner.
Thank you. Somebody who understands you're already married to your mission, but it's okay, right? We'll fit each other in when we can, and that's okay. But here's the challenge, though, right? Decentralization. If you're an activist, a disruptor, a change agent, it makes sense for you, right? Really, taking power away from central players and empowering the masses. But the challenge for cryptocurrency is the fact that it's not fast. Right. And activists are used to getting in a bullhorn, whether their bullhorn is Twitter or that corner, and broadcasting immediately, right now. And we know that blockchain cryptocurrency, what we gain back of decentralization means that we lose, that pace. So I am in the beta mode to actually just test that, right? To test how will activists feel about an onboarding process that's longer, and about an engagement process that's slower, right? And the great thing about crypto, now I'm hearing myself, is you can do a lot of this stuff on chain or off chain. But I will tell you, as you mentioned, my background, I have a Washington background. I worked in the Obama administration. I worked on Capitol Hill. I've worked on national campaigns. And around 2017, the regulatory conversation opened up. And there weren't that many people who had Washington experience, policy experience, and also blockchain cryptocurrency. So I was able to lean back to Washington, who have obviously, again, I know members of Congress and contacts from the Obama administration, and just start talking to folks about what is blockchain policy, blockchain, and what are the policies that make sense. And I actually just intended to be a detour because, around 2016, 2017, I was going back and forth between New York and DC. And then the public policy piece just really just opened up, and it became so important to actually start having these conversations with an understanding of how Washington works. Because I do think that's one of the biggest pitfalls for the crypto community is we don't understand. Washington is like Vegas. The house always wins. Don't go into somebody's house thinking that you're gonna, no. It's a place where you build relationships. It's a long play. And also, it's not a place where you try to take the ball away from them. This is a place where you say, you got it. It's all you. You just find a way to get what you need and get out.
God bless you, because I don't have the patience, but that's a whole nother story. So I have to ask you, innovation, legislation, legislators are not typically said in the same breath. So, how has your experience been introducing crypto, blockchain, and even driving adoption on the Hill?
Yeah, it's a challenge, right? Because when we talk about public policy, right, there's a lot going on at the state level and even at the local level. Mayors are doing incredible things. There are some governors who are leading, and then there's Washington.
We in Miami, we know. We got a mayor who's like, I'm about to pay you in Bitcoin. I'm like, can I work for the government? Can I work for the city?
Yeah, Miami's about to kill it, but Washington is another beast, right? Most members of Congress are over 60. Hell, most of them are in their 70s, and they are committed to the traditional financial system. Why? Because innovators dream big, but regulators have to anticipate what might go wrong. And for them, it's what might go wrong. And what's really hurt the crypto community is big tech, right? What preceded us is the tech bubble that ended up being something, right? And we and the internet was actually supposed to decentralize us, right? And then we took a detour. But as a result, crypto is really paying for a lot of the sins of big tech. When we think about, no offense, but Facebook, Google.
Well, Facebook is trying to release their own stablecoin. So
But Washington sees them as the enemy, right? Washington sees their role is to protect consumers from tech. So here we are saying, no, crypto is different. We're decentralized. We are the grassroots, right? We are the culture. They're just like, we still have to protect people from you. So it's a difficult engagement to have because again, while Washington understands that innovation is a big part of the US economy, in order for us to be competitive, we have to innovate, but they also have to operate within the laws that we have, right? And one thing I learned from, having worked in Washington for quite a while is the wheels of legislation are slow, right? And they're not gonna move fast. There's for your listeners out there, for everybody who keeps telling everyone, you know that they print money, they're always printing money. Yeah, you know what? The public wants them to print money. So it's not a strong argument to go against the government and say, this printing of the money is bad. Everybody knows it's bad, but it's the only avenue we have. So you have to meet regulators and policymakers where they're at, which is they live in a sandbox that's very limited. Right? Imagine that they operate in the square, and we want them to not only make it a circle, but now start operating differently. So it's a challenge, but we can get there, and I think we have some good champions in Congress. Here's where I think where we have opportunity. Is we haven't really focused enough on the Black caucus, the Hispanic caucus, and the Asian caucus. Those members have congressional districts where they're having to focus on creating jobs, but they also having to focus on crime and health, right? So they don't have the time to actually, have a dedicated person to learn about cryptocurrency. And I think that's where the crypto community can do a better job in terms of, and especially innovators of color in crypto, those Black and Latinx people out there, we have to approach it differently, right? We have to build relationships with Black caucus members and Hispanic caucus members and their staff, right? And we have to build relationships, right?
Building a bridge, because I find that like the part of the reason why we even launched Crypto Tutors was because we recognized that there was a tremendous knowledge gap. And as a result of that knowledge gap, a lot of underrepresented communities were missing out on this digital asset revolution that is crypto and blockchain. And as a result of that, we said, okay, what can we do to ensure that we're helping close the knowledge gap, but Cleve also help folks empower themselves to, by applying the knowledge that they're learning, transform that knowledge into wealth. And so we are definitely of the same mindset in that we want to make sure folks have access to, educational content that is, God willing, entertaining. We call it edutainment, like the crypto couch. We got people, or it's like, we're going to dance, we're going to laugh, we're going to cry. Well, we're not going to cry, but I hope not.
No, but you make an excellent point that, we have to, education is how we make crypto more accessible. I remember a few years ago, I got so frustrated going to these blockchain conferences. They just kept going from $50 to $500 to $5,000. And, and I realized that this is the process that actually excludes.
Right. It's a very exclusionary method, because the higher the price, the less people that have access to it and can afford it.
And if we're decentralized, we have to operate differently, right? If we actually want to engage a new consumer base, so the events that I do, I always make sure that they're free, and I always make sure we align blockchain cryptocurrency with what's happening in the world. So the event, thank you for being a member of our delegation.
I'm the one who's honored, because I've seen you in practice, and like to have attended that that conference over the course of the 2 days, and to see the legislators. You had Congresswomen, women out there, who are very crypto friendly, and just to hear their thoughts and just to know that like there are these conversations that are happening, and you wouldn't know it because in the public narrative, it's very like, the government here in the US seems to be very resistant to embracing crypto and embracing blockchain. And actually that brings me to my next question, which is that, we are already in discussions here in the US. The SEC is considering an exchange traded fund, exchange traded funds, folks, because we want to make sure that we're helping with financial literacy. Think about them as like a basket of securities, like, on the NASDAQ. The SEC is considering proposals to create a Bitcoin ETF. It's already been rolled out in Canada, but there are also conversations around a US issued stablecoin, right? And so for folks that are not familiar with stablecoin, it is a type of crypto that is backed by another asset. That other asset could be a fiat currency, which is like a dollar or a euro. And so the US is actually considering a stablecoin pegged to the US dollar. And it seems like, now in 2021, there's a lot more, I guess, more reception to crypto and blockchain and the implications for the country. And I'm curious to hear from you, how is it actually going?
There's a lot of talk and not a lot of progress. Again, the wheels of Washington are slow. Washington loves to debate things for at least a good decade or two before there's action. So you mentioned the digital dollar, right? So the Federal Reserve, the SEC is having a conversation about the digital dollar, but once has actually recently put out language that says not a stable coin, a digital currency, right? Mm-hmm. So across the world, if central banks are looking at CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and the hope was that it would actually move towards the stablecoin approach that you just described, because it is pegged by something tangible like the US dollar.
Right.
But
the Bahamas has already released the Bahamas as a stablecoin.
Yep. The sand coin in the Bahamas. Yeah. But the US, the Federal Reserve has said, not a stable coin, a digital dollar. Still though, that's still progress, right? Because we're still moving the conversation towards digital money, right? And let's be honest, there's going to be a lot of talk. Some of it is good because the conversations are helpful, but for what the progress we want in the crypto community, the US government is not even set up to accommodate it, right? Because we talk about, cryptocurrency exchanges and they said, well, why don't you just get a bank charter? And we're saying, no, we're not banks. If you make us get a bank charter, we have to operate the same way. So then so then the OCC looks at changing that dynamic. So all of these steps are, they're baby steps. Here's where I think we have opportunity. Right now, today, the 21st century, there are 4 generations dominating this, right? Baby boomers, the members of Congress in their 70s and 80s that control everything, they still control all the money, right?
Yeah.
I'm a Gen Xer. Those of us in our 40s and 50s, we actually created most of the stuff that the millennials dominate the marketplace with.
You're welcome, millennials.
And then the Zoomers, you know what? I'm just afraid of them. The people in college and high school right now, they will inherit all of our wealth. They are going to change the world.
Well, they're certainly not going to inherit Social Security.
No, but they don't want it anyways. They're gonna get grandma's house and mama's house, so they're gonna be fine. But the reason why that's so important that you have we've never had in modern times four generations dominating, right? So you're not no generation is deferring to anyone, and we all have our different ways we want to control the marketplace. That's the promise of blockchain cryptocurrency, because that is, we see adoption is possible with Zoomers and millennials, right? We Gen Xers, I have to tell you, Satoshi Nakamoto was a Gen Xer. And
wait, Satoshi Nakamoto is the he wrote the Bitcoin white paper. We don't know, but just to make sure that folks know what we talk about. And if you want to learn about the technology and the engineering behind Bitcoin, which is the first cryptocurrency, read that white paper. Sorry. And if you have read it, let me see in the comments, because we want to make sure that we shout you out.
Yes, and it's very short. It's not only maybe printed. It's 7 or 9 pages. It's an easy read. Bitcoin was not intended to be difficult. But, now I forgot the point that I was making. But I do think that, we have to
future, what the future holds and the benefits associated with it.
Yeah, so Satoshi, the Satoshis of the world were Gen Xers. And we see that we can't move this place until we get the institutional investors, the Elon Musk of the world. I don't even know what generation he is, but those people who control the wealth, we need them to, start changing their approaches as well. So I think that's what's the promise of crypto, right? With 4 generations, we don't have to wait on Washington to change the game. The marketplace is changing the game, right? And young people are forcing their parents and grandparents to change the game. So I do think, while I'm not optimistic about where we're going to be in terms of the regulatory landscape in Washington, I am optimistic about what we'll see state to state, city to city. But I do think the marketplace is going to change it. When you think about the diversity of today's marketplace, when you think about how the marketplace has already changed to accommodate millennials with the sharing economy, millennials get a lot of credit for that, but it wasn't just millennials. It was the baby boomers and millennials. They, so millennials didn't want to buy a car. It was just okay, let's create the system. Baby boomers is oh, they took my car away, but I can Uber. And people who are taking care of parents were thinking, oh God, Uber. This person can take my mom to the doctor and go back and I can track it and everything. So I'm optimistic that the marketplace is going to force the crypto revolution we know is impending.
So it's interesting too, because when we think about crypto, we refer to it as permissionless, right? Peer-to-peer permissionless. And it's so interesting how that that idea of permissionless has been so embedded in the whole crypto and blockchain world, because its introduction doesn't require governments, right? When we think you referenced decentralization and the idea of decentralized, what we're saying is that there's no single entity that is governing the system. It's everyone has an opportunity to participate. And so I feel as we think through what's going to happen, all of us have a stake. No pun intended, because staking, you could generate interest. Check out our e-learning course. But each of us has a stake in this digital, landscape.
Yeah. And what the dynamic that you just described is why there's so much friction in crypto, right? Because Wall Street is just wait, wealth is supposed to come through us. How did it bypass us? We didn't create this Bitcoin thing. So they've actually had to play catch up and be oh, okay. So now they're, we had Fidelity, applied to, as I said, for an ETF. And a lot of institutional finance companies are looking to be, custodials of cryptocurrency for their merchants. So for the traditional financial system, certainly for Wall Street, they were just like, how dare you create a financial instrument without us? And then, for governments, they were blindsided. They were just like, wait, what? Bitcoin is how much? Who's taxing it? Who's paying their taxes?
Yeah. Right.
But so you had, I remember when the government started requiring people to pay for their taxes, it required that some of these exchanges had to drop dime on us all the time. Like, they're just like, oh, sorry, we're gonna have to report you. I was like, wait.
What is that? Know your KYC? Is that know your customer?
But KYC was slow to, I will tell you, we only regulate what we need to tax, right? So if Bitcoin was 50 cents right now,
we have this conversation. It would be
right. Yeah. But again, I do think that going back to what you said, this dynamic of, the disruption of societies have made, because so many industries they can't catch up. And so, but that's the exciting things about when we think about people who have been left out of the process, it has been young people, right? For me, there was a sense that you deferred to, you waited your turn. There was a time. And I love that young people were just like, oh yeah, I'm 16. Oh, I'll be CEO. I remember when I worked in the Obama administration, I was the director of public affairs, one of the agencies. And whenever we had, a new 20-something come up, they'd always come to me and be like, I want that person's job. I'm just like, legislative director. He's just like, I know, I have more relationships than she does. I'm just like, dude, really? but
yeah, you gotta love the ambition.
Even though, no, you're not gonna be legislative director, but the fact that young people dream that big,
they're so aspirational.
But it's not even aspirational. It is it is decentralized, right? It's like there's blockchain is limitless, right? You can create your own currency. You can create your own marketplace. You can sell your own products.
Neutral economy.
Exactly. So that's what we need. We do need, people who think, oh, yeah, I could do that. And yeah, I'm gonna do that. So
especially in government, because I'm glad to hear that you're getting that kind of like new blood, that new energy, because, we were talking about just like bureaucracy and how that just, delays innovation. And that's why I also commend you for the work that you're doing to continuously champion the benefits and how beneficial crypto and blockchain is. And it's something that is empowering because, when you think about these micro economies and microfinancing and underbanked, not banked or unbanked entirely, people who are off the grid, like how do we get them to, be a part of the system in a way that's not going to, inhibit them or stop them from doing what they need to do because, okay, maybe they don't have that identification that you were mentioning earlier. And so it's like, how can we move out of, the barriers out of people's way so that they can do what they do best?
Yes. I love that. How do we get the barriers out of people's way? Again, which is what you're doing with crypto tutors, but also we have to find opportunities to have conversations about blockchain and cryptocurrency in normal settings, right? What's normal? Normal is what everyone's used to. I'll take this as an opportunity to talk about my next event, which is going to coincide with Small Business Week. National Small Business Week is something that happens every year, the first week of May. The Small Business Administration has been doing it every year. So this is nothing new, first week of May. Well, this year, I've chosen Cinco de Mayo, May 5, to do a blockchain small business event. And then we're going to talk about the creative economy and how, digital currencies are actually changing the game. And we're going to talk about especially, the creative economy, NFTs,
non-fungible tokens. These are digital assets like digital art. Read up on Beeple. If anybody knows who Beeple is, BEEPLE, you will see why NFTs are something to pay attention to. Fancy if I wrote a rap about it. I'll talk about that later though.
Well, I will say I'm disappointed about how NFTs has, gone mainstream. And the Crypties buy is great, right? $69 million, but it's made it so that NFTs is only associated with crypto art, right? And we know that the creative aspects of what crypto is disrupting, it's music, it is art, it's publishing, it's so much of what fuels the normal creative economy. And so May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, we will be talking about that. And also, as part of registration, we'll be sharing a special recipe for margarita, because that's how we're going to.
Because that's how we roll. That's how we roll. Because it's entertaining and education. No, edutainment. Okay. So, Cleve, you have been so unbelievably generous with your time, and in going through all of the accomplishments and going through your achievements and hearing more about the phenomenal work that you're continuing to do, it's just, we could talk all day. So I'm curious, in your parting words, right? Like, what parting words of wisdom would you have for folks?
I would say we need 100 more of you, because you're.
And you, 100,000 more. Can we clone you? No, I'm just kidding. We don't want to, and we want originals, but we need more people who have that kind of, aspirational, inspirational way of being. So.
Although I could use a clone to clean my bathroom and pick up my drag.
You're right. You're right. And I bet you somebody in the comments will be like, actually, no.
But I do think we need that army, right? Because what even in Washington and also in the public, people don't see enough people of color who look like them, Black women, Latina women, Asian, well, not Asian men, but Asian women, LGBTQ men and women, right? We know that the ecosystem is diverse. Women of color is the fastest growing demographic in crypto, and people of color are the innovators who are building the products and services. So we need to be more visible, because that is how we actually go mainstream, because the marketplace is diverse and they want to see people who look like them. So I'm excited. Oh, that would be my parting words. We need more inclusion and diversity, and we need to talk about crypto in normal ways. Start doing it.
It's laymanizing the terminology in crypto and blockchain. That's why when we're talking about like decentralized and even like dApps, just making sure that folks kind of grasp those concepts, because it's like one definition leads to another. And so
I love that you've stopped me along the way to say, let's tell people what this is.
Oh yeah, because even myself, like, I just started my crypto journey about a year ago, and like I live and breathe this stuff. And what I found is that the more you speak to the more that you speak in jargon and these technical terms, the more difficult it is for folks to grasp, and the less likely they are to want to explore on their own. So, laymanizing things and reducing them to the lowest common denominator, I find, again, in the vein of breaking down barriers, really lends itself to that. So we're about to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can I wrap up one? Okay, another parting word. So for people, buy Bitcoin. This is not investment advice. Buy $10 worth of Bitcoin. You can easily right now go into Cash App or PayPal.
Cash App.
And because Bitcoin don't have sticker shock. It's like layaway. You can put $25 every month.
No, but fractional buying. So speaking of Satoshi though, right? This is also very important, because when we, have guests on the show, we want to make sure that, the conversations are actionable. And so, when Cleve is talking about buying Bitcoin, obviously we're not advisors, we're educators, but there is a fractional Bitcoin that you can buy, which is a Satoshi, right? And like that fractional Bitcoin enables you to get your feet wet, and you can use, easy, simple, tools like Cash App to acquire Bitcoin in like seconds. So get involved. The best way to learn is to like get involved.
And if you have $10 to spare, start there. Once you have skin in the game, you can actually go down that rabbit hole.
But you know what though? We wouldn't be doing our viewers justice if we didn't remind them that they need to stay in touch with you. They need to follow you. How do they get on your newsletter? How do they get an invitation to the conference in May? Like tell us how to keep up with your journey, Cleve.
Yes. Well, the easiest way, I'm always on Twitter. So I'm at C Mesi on Twitter, CMESI. but I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn, Cleve Mesidor. You can, send me an invite. I'd love to connect. And I always promote all of my events on Twitter. So, and obviously for my book, The Clevolution, yes,
I got my copy, but now I want it to be signed, so I'm gonna have to go pull up to DC to see Cleve.
have a signed copy waiting for you.
So, folks, we want to make sure that we continue to bring you the best and the brightest in the industry. Please be sure to subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, you can't keep watching. And if you can't keep watching, then you can't keep learning. And if you can't keep learning, then you can't keep earning. Right? So, thank you so much, Cleve, for your time, for your energy, for being the incredible, awesome human being that you are. And I couldn't there aren't enough words to describe how appreciative we are, especially as a woman of color, especially as a Black woman being in crypto, and you having blazed the trail and continuing to blaze the trail and create opportunities for us to be present and to showcase our presence within this space. So super excited to see where your journey goes. Crypto Tutors, we're gonna be rooting for you all the way. I'm trying to recruit you to be a part of the Crypto Tutors ecosystem. We could talk about that offline. But thank you so much for everything that you do, and we love you and your work, and we'll continue to ensure that we elevate and celebrate you. That's a wrap, folks. Keep watching and keep learning. Crypto Tutors got your back, and Crypto Couch is going to continue to bring you the best, the brightest, and that's a wrap. Peace.
Want to learn more? Visit CryptoTutors.com.